everyone, welcome back for another activity. My name is Marnie and I'm going to be doing the watercolor polar bear today. Polar bears live in the Arctic, and the Arctic includes parts of Alaska, and so that's why we're doing the polar bear as this craft. So let's get started. First, we're going to grab 3 supplies out of our bag. We want to grab our watercolors, of course. We want to grab our polar bear template. And we also want to grab our watercolor paper. Now, we need 4 supplies that are not in the bag, but you will probably have at home. We need a pair of scissors. We need a pencil. We need a white crayon or a white marker, and we need a small cup of water to use with the watercolor paints. So now we've got all our supplies, let's get started. First, we're going to grab the polar bear template. What we're going to do is cut this out. So let's grab our scissors and we're going to cut out the polar bear. Now I already have mine cut out, so it looks exactly like this. Once we have our polar bear cut out, we're going to put it on our watercolor paper. So let's put it, I'm going to put mine right in the middle. Then we're going to grab our pencil and we're going to trace the polar bear onto the watercolor page. So let's trace all around. And I've done mine. So it looks exactly like this. Okay, now we're going to grab our white crayon or our white marker and we're going to color the polar bear, just the inside. So we're going to color the bear. So here we go. Now, polar bears actually have black skin and their fur is white, which is actually transparent. The reason we're coloring the inside of it is because when we do the watercolor, we don't want the watercolor to bleed onto the polar bear. This helps it, although it does bleed a little bit onto it. So an interesting thing to experiment with is if you wanted to use a marker or paint or chalk or some other white coloring device and see how that works. Another interesting thing about the polar bear is they're called a marine mammal. They spend many months at sea and they can swim for months at a time. Okay, now the polar bear is colored. You're not going to be able to tell that it's colored white because it's on white paper, but we are ready to do the background. So we're trying to do colors that might look like snow and sky and ice. So we have all of our beautiful watercolor paints. Take our brush, dip it into our water, which I'll bring close. And I'm going to start with some blue. So we just kind of want to go around. And I'm doing it sort of like circles. Let's do some greens. So the idea is that we can get the entire page colored except for the bear. Something else about polar bears. Polar bears are carnivores, which means they eat meat. And they eat seals, which makes me sad because I love seals, but that's how they survive. And they're actually the largest land animal carnivore. Say that right. Okay. And again, I'm just using the blues and the purples, but there is no right or wrong. You can use absolutely any colors for the background. The idea is, again, that we're coloring all around the polar bear. Polar bears can weigh, the male is the boar, and it can weigh up to 1,500 pounds, which is about half the size of a car. Now, the sow, which is the female, only weighs about half that. So something else that's interesting. Okay, mine's not gonna look as good as the finished one that we did earlier, but I'm gonna show you the one I'm working on, and then I'm gonna show you once again the finished product. Let me get this a little bit closer so we can see how coloring the polar bear helps the color from going onto it. Okay, this is the one I'm working on. It's not finished. I would color all around. And then let's look at a completed one again. And that's the completed. There is no right or wrong. It's just something fun to do. Experiment with your colors and experiment with the polar bear by using maybe a marker or chalk, like I said, even a white colored pencil, and just see how that works and have fun with it. Thanks. See you next week, guys.